I didn't quit this time. I almost stopped. I felt tired. I felt unsure. I had quit before, but this time I didn't quit. The urge to quit felt familiar. I knew that feeling well. But instead of leaving, I paused. I rested. And I stayed. Lesson 1. Quitting is a pattern. For a long time, quitting felt normal to me. When things became difficult, I stopped. When progress felt slow, I left. I told myself it was a smart choice. I said I was protecting my energy. But deep inside, I knew the truth. Quitting had become a pattern. The first time I quit, it hurt. The second time, it hurt less. After that, it felt familiar. Quitting stopped feeling like failure and started feeling like relief. I escaped discomfort, but I also escaped growth. Each time I quit, I told myself a story. This is not for me. I will try again later. It is not the right time. These words helped me feel better in the moment, but they slowly weakened my trust in myself. I noticed something important. I did not quit because I could not continue. I quit because I did not like how continuing felt. It felt uncomfortable. It felt uncertain. It asked more from me than I wanted to give at that time. Over time, quitting shaped my identity. I began to see myself as someone who starts but does not finish. That belief followed me into new projects and new goals. Even before I tried, I expected myself to stop. This year, I paused and looked at that pattern honestly. I asked myself a hard question. What if quitting is not a decision, but a habit? Habits grow through repetition. The more you repeat them, the easier they become. Quitting had become easy for me. Staying felt hard because I had not practiced it. That realization was uncomfortable, but it was also freeing. If quitting was a habit, then staying could be learned too. I decided to interrupt the pattern, not by forcing myself to succeed, but by refusing to disappear. When things felt heavy, I stayed. When doubt appeared, I paused instead of leaving. This did not feel strong at first. It felt awkward. I did not know how to stay without pressure, but I learned slowly. Breaking a quitting pattern does not mean never stopping. It means stopping differently. It means resting without leaving. It means adjusting without quitting. This lesson changed how I saw my past. I stopped judging myself. I understood that I was not weak. I was untrained in staying. This year changed me because I noticed the pattern and chose to practice something new. I practiced staying, even when it felt uncomfortable. Quitting may feel like relief, but staying builds strength, and strength grows when you choose not to repeat the same ending. This time, I did not quit, and that choice changed everything. Lesson 2. Rest is not quitting. For a long time, I thought rest and quitting were the same thing. When I felt tired, I believed I was weak. When I slowed down, I felt guilty, so I pushed myself until I could not continue. And then I quit completely. This year taught me a new truth. Rest is not quitting. Rest is how you continue. I learned to listen to my body and my mind. When I felt exhausted, I did not disappear. I paused, I rested, and then I returned. Rest gave me space to breathe. It helped me see things clearly again. When I rested, I did not lose progress. I protected it. Quitting cuts the connection. Rest keeps it alive. I noticed that when I rested with intention, I returned stronger. My focus improved. My patience grew. I did not feel the urge to escape anymore. In the past, I quit because I was overwhelmed. This time, I rested before overwhelm became collapse. Rest also removed shame. I stopped telling myself that slowing down meant failure. I accepted that energy moves in waves. Some days are strong. Some days are quiet. Both are normal. I learned that rest can be active. A walk, a deep breath, a quiet moment. These small pauses helped me stay present. Rest gave me permission to continue imperfectly. I no longer needed to perform at my best every day. I just needed to stay connected. This lesson changed how I treated myself. I became kinder, and kindness made staying possible. I realized that quitting often happens when rest is ignored. When you rest early, you do not need to quit later. This year changed me because I stopped confusing rest with weakness. I learned that rest is a skill, and like any skill, it takes practice. I did not quit this time because I allowed myself to rest, and that rest carried me forward. Lesson 3. Progress looks messy. I used to believe progress should look clean. I imagined a straight line. I thought if I was doing well, I would feel confident every day. When things became confusing, I assumed I was doing something wrong. This year taught me that real progress is messy. Some days, I moved forward. Other days, I felt stuck. Sometimes I felt motivated. Sometimes I felt tired again. My emotions changed often. My energy went up and down. And for a long time, this confused me. In the past, when progress felt messy, I quit. I believed that if things were not clear, they were not working. I wanted certainty. I wanted proof. But staying showed me a different truth. Progress is not a straight road. It is a winding path. You take steps forward, then pause. You learn something, then feel unsure again. That does not mean you are failing. It means you are learning. Messy progress means you are trying. It means you are adjusting. It means you are still engaged. I noticed that even on days when I felt unproductive, something was happening. I was thinking differently. I was responding with more patience. I was not reacting the same way as before. These changes were not visible, but they were real. Progress also looks messy because life does not stop. Problems appear. Energy drops. Plans change. Expecting smooth progress in a real life is unrealistic. This lesson helped me stop judging myself too quickly. I stopped asking, why am I not better yet? I started asking, what am I learning now? When I accepted messy progress, pressure disappeared. I allowed myself to move imperfectly. That freedom helped me continue. I learned that clean progress often belongs to stories, not to real people. Real growth has pauses, doubts, and restarts. Staying through the mess builds resilience. You learn how to continue even when things are unclear. That skill is powerful. This year changed me because I stopped quitting when progress looked messy. I stayed curious instead of critical. Progress does not need to look perfect to be real. It only needs honesty and patience. And sometimes, the mess is where the most important growth happens. Lesson 4. Staying builds strength. I used to think strength came from pushing hard. I believed strong people never slowed down and never doubted themselves. When I felt tired or unsure, I assumed I was weak. That belief made quitting feel logical. This year taught me a different meaning of strength. Strength is not how hard you push. Strength is how long you stay. Staying does not look dramatic. It does not feel heroic. Most of the time, staying feels ordinary. You wake up, you do what you can, you rest, you return. That simple pattern builds strength quietly. Each time I stayed, even when I wanted to leave, something inside me grew. I learned that I could tolerate discomfort. I learned that I could sit with uncertainty. I learned that feelings pass when you do not run from them. Staying trained my patience. Instead of reacting quickly, I paused, I gave myself time. That pause changed my responses. I became calmer, I made better decisions. I also noticed that staying reduced fear. When you stay long enough, fear loses power. It does not disappear, but it becomes familiar. And familiar fear is easier to manage. Strength grew because I did not escape. I allowed challenges to teach me. Each difficulty became practice. Each hard moment became training. I learned that staying does not mean forcing yourself. It means remaining connected. You can adjust. You can slow down. You can rest. But you do not disappear. This lesson changed how I saw myself. I stopped seeing myself as someone who gives up easily. I started seeing myself as someone who stays. That identity shift mattered. When you believe you can stay, you act differently. You face challenges with more confidence. Strength does not come from one big moment. It comes from many small moments where you choose not to leave. This year changed me because I practiced staying. And staying, repeated over time, became strength. Lesson 5. Not quitting changes identity. I thought not quitting would change my results. I did not realize it would change how I saw myself. Results take time. identity changes faster. Every time I chose to stay, I sent myself a message. The message was simple but powerful. I am someone who continues. That message slowly replaced an old story I carried for years. Before, I saw myself as someone who tried and stopped. Someone who started strong but faded. That belief shaped my actions. I quit because quitting matched who I thought I was. This year, something shifted. Staying became part of my identity. Identity is built through evidence. Each time you act in a certain way, you collect proof. When I stayed during difficult moments, I collected proof that I was capable of persistence. That proof changed my confidence. I no longer asked if I could continue. I knew I could try. Not quitting also changed how I faced challenges. Problems felt less threatening. I stopped seeing them as reasons to leave and started seeing them as moments to practice staying. I noticed that my self-talk changed. Instead of saying I always quit, I said I can rest and return. That small change made a big difference. Identity affects behavior. When you believe you are someone who stays, quitting feels unnatural. Continuing feels normal. This lesson taught me patience with myself. Identity does not change overnight. It changes through repetition. Each choice to stay mattered. I also learned that identity is flexible. You are not stuck with who you were. You become who you practice being. Not quitting did not make life easy. Challenges still appeared, but I faced them with a different mindset. I trusted myself to handle them. By the end of the year, I realized something important. The greatest reward of staying was not success. It was self-trust. This year changed me because I became someone who stays. And that identity will support me in every challenge ahead. Not quitting is not about forcing yourself. It is about believing that you are capable of continuing, and once you believe that, everything changes. Not quitting does not mean never feeling tired or doubtful. It means choosing to stay connected even when things feel uncomfortable. This year taught me that quitting is often a habit, and staying can be learned. Rest is not weakness. Messy progress is still progress. Strength is built quietly through patience and presence. Each time you stay, you train your ability to continue. The most powerful change does not always happen outside. It happens inside, when you stop seeing yourself as someone who gives up and start seeing yourself as someone who stays. You do not need to be strong every day. You only need to return. Growth belongs to those who do not disappear when things get hard. If you are struggling right now, it does not mean you are failing. It may mean you are standing at the edge of a breakthrough. Staying matters, even when it feels ordinary. If this story feels close to your heart, pause for a moment. Think about something you almost quit, but didn't. Write, "I stayed," in the comments if you are choosing to continue today. Let it be your quiet promise. Subscribe to LinguaTales for simple English stories that help you learn, reflect, and grow, one honest step at a time. You didn't quit this time, and that matters more than you think.